Hey guys, welcome. I'm Jade Scarlett with It's Art O'Clock Somewhere, and we're going to do another demo from the watercolor paint kits from Michaels. So today we're going to do something from the natural objects. Actually, the one of the shells, otherwise this is going to be too long to paint all of them, but we're going to paint one of them. So just give me 1 second. So I switch to the overhead camera on this one, and hopefully today none of my cameras will kick me out of the stream, because yesterday one of the cameras, the one that you can see my face, no, the palette cam, sorry, that was the one that was giving trouble. And instead of being a palette cam, since our palette is so small anyways, I'm gonna have on that camera the project so I can refer to it. I'm trying to get it right here. Let's see if I can zoom in. Yeah, zoom in on the, wait, it's upside down. Let me turn this. Okay, here we go. I think it's still upside. Okay, here we go. No, I need to turn all the way around. So do we have it now? Oh my God. It's so complicated to get this. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Oh. So I think I want to paint this one here, this beautiful shell, whatever it's called. Here you go. I'm going to have it like this. And hopefully you guys can see it well there. Let me see that. Okay, so yes, today we are going to paint from the natural objects. And here is our little palette that comes. I'm not going to use all of them. I'm just going to use one from all of the kits, because I already opened like 3 or 4 of them. So I'm going to use this one. And I also have some extra brushes other than the one that came with the set. So I'm going to be using some extra round brushes. So I have one that is a little bit bigger than the one that came with the set. Actually, this one here is about the same size, and this one is smaller. Now, the painting does start with this beautiful blue all around it, but I'm not going to do that just yet. I'm just going to go straight for this shell here. So we're going to have a lovely pink. I'm going to mix this pink and also a little bit of this brown. If you look on the other camera, on the palette cam, I know that the image is losing a little bit of resolution like this, but you can see that it has this cool brown here. And I'm probably going to mix a little bit of burnt umber with black. And here, burnt umber and burnt sienna. And here I'm just going to mix one of the reds, probably this one here, which is slightly pinker than the one on top, which is cooler. So let's mix those colors. Probably should have cleaned this, but you know what? I can use, let me get another palette. I'm going to get my Winsor & Newton Cotman. And I'm going to use the mixing area here. That will make my life easier. But it's the same colors. Actually, I'm just going to use from the Winsor & Newton. It can, it's the same colors. I'm going to get a little bit of this burnt umber. And that would be this here. And that's going to be that warm brown that you see around here if you look on the palette cam. I'm going to add a small small amount of red, and it would be this red here. I can even take this one just to warm it up a little bit. Let me get a piece of paper so I can swatch those colors and show you what they look like. Here we go. So let's see. Yeah, that looks good. It's probably not enough, so I'm gonna mix a little bit more. So again, just burnt umber, or this color here, and a little bit of red, and a little bit more water, so it's nice and light. And then I am going to mix a small amount of the burnt umber with a little bit of black. Tons of water, so it's super, super light. And please, I'm going to ask you guys, if anybody's watching, I would love to know that there's someone there watching. So please ask your questions, post a comment. I'm actually going to post a comment and just make sure that you can see my comments. Please ask any questions. And I will also link to the kit if you want to get it from Michael's. Okay, so this needs a little bit more water and a little bit more black. And the color that I'm mixing is this color here that is around the shell. So a little bit more black. So that was the burnt umber and black, and now I'm adding a ton of water to make it a really, really light value. Let's see. Oh yeah, that is perfect. So this is what you're looking for. A ton of water and a little bit of burnt umber and a little bit of black, and that will give you that exact color. Now, lastly, I want to mix a little bit of that pink, and I'm going to use this pink here. Maybe not. Maybe I'll use the other one. Let's see. Yeah, the one on the top, actually. And quite a bit of water. Let's see what we have here when I swatch. Yeah, that's good. Actually, I'm going to warm it up a little. Make it a little bit cooler, just a tiny little bit. So I'm going to add a teeny tiny little bit of the ultramarine. I don't want to make purple. I just want to make it slightly cooler. Okay, so we have our color. So I'm going to put this on the side, and I'm going to show you guys how we're going to approach. So here, if you look on the palette cam, you notice that, let me bring this one, maybe you see better. It's just such a shame that the images are so small, but there is that ultramarine, the burnt umber with black around the edges. So I'm going to start with that, and I'm going to show you how I will blend that wet on dry. So I'm going to start with my small brush, and this one here is a size 2, just because I don't want to put a lot of pigment. And I'm going to use the size 6, which is the same size as the one that came with the kit, actually, with water to blend. So having my tissue ready here, my paper towel, and I have the brush that has just water. Now I'm going to get a little bit of that super, super light burnt umber with a little bit of black. And I'm going to work one section at a time so the paint doesn't dry on me. I'm just going to start by applying that light color on one side, and then I'm going to soften those edges here with just a little bit of water on my water brush. Grab a little bit more, and I'm going to do this side here. Same thing. I'm going to apply the ultramarine. Why do I keep saying ultramarine? What's wrong, B? I have ultramarine on my mind. The burnt umber and the black. So now on this side here, I think, yeah, it does go all the way here on top. Grab a little bit more pigment, and I'm going to blend with just the tip of the brush and a small amount of water. Not a lot, so it doesn't bleed completely and disintegrates any color. So you want to use just enough paint, water, on the blending brush that you can soften the edge without flooding everything with, well, let me come a little bit closer. Here we go. So again, I'm going to actually do this section here first. It's getting a little bigger, the section, so I want to make sure that I have plenty of time to blend. So I'm not going to paint a large area, because doing that might dry the pigment, and then it's not impossible to blend, but you would need a brush to scrub the pigment, and that could damage the paper. So rather than painting one big area at a time, I rather go with small sections. That way I have plenty of time to blend the colors. And I'm going to use the same technique on those other parts here, those grooves on this shell. Continue here. Look at the sample there on the iPad. I went to the website, to Michael's, and I took a picture, a screenshot. Oops, that was too much pigment. I saw a screenshot of the project, so I can then have a little bit bigger reference than the picture that is on the packaging, which is too small. That is really my only complaint about this set, is that the sample pictures are really, really too small. Makes it so hard to refer to it. And that's one of the main reasons why I decided to do those lives, so I can, show you my interpretation of the projects and how I see them. This also has a little bit of a shading here, but it's more of that brown that we're going to use here. So I'm going to use the other one, the one that I added a tiny amount of, oops, that's too dark. Let me lighten. This one, it's a burnt umber with a very small amount of red. And it has this part here painted, and it also has a little bit here that extends past that line, but then it's blended. So I'm going to blend it here, and that is nice. Getting a little bit of this here. And this paper is actually really good, to be honest. I'm going to do the same thing now with the pink, and I'm going to put it right here. So still using the same technique. And this value is a little bit darker, so you see what a difference it makes compared to this extremely light values we've been using so far. Although it's still pretty light value, nothing is dark here. We're going to start adding some darker values in a moment. But to begin with, we're going to keep it very light. And this is really the idea with watercolor. You want to work from light to dark. And you want to darken your values slowly, because the reality is it's always easier to darken a value in watercolor than it is to make it lighter. You would have to scrub. And actually, this set that I got, the Zen, Royal Langnickel Zen, one of them, both of them came with those dome brushes. This one here is quite stiff, so it would be a good brush to soften something. Like, let's say if you went too dark too fast and then you need to bring back the light, maybe this one is a little bit too hard for this paper, but this one here would work fine. So yeah, you want to have like a little dome brush like this, and the bristles a little bit harder, so you can lift pigment or soften an edge that has been dried already. So yeah. So now, before I can continue, which is this part here, now we're going to paint those darker values. I'm going to dry it so nothing bleeds onto the areas that we already painted. So just using my heat gun, a blow dryer will do the same job. And now we're ready to tackle this pieces here. And we're going to paint one at a time. So we're going to start on the top. So if you look in the palette cam, we're going to start right here on the top and then work our way down. And for that, we're going to use the same method. I'm going to apply the paint with the small size 2 brush, and then I'm going to soften the edges with the size 6 with just water on the brush. So here's my water brush, and here is the brush that has pigment. So let's start right here on top. It's coming up or down. It's just so, let's see. I think they're coming. I'm just going to use my best judgment, because honestly speaking, this is too small. I can't see. So it's going to take a little. You know what? I think this needs a little bit, just a small amount of black. I am working strictly with what I have here. So I don't want to use any different colors in case you want to follow along. Okay, let's try again with this modified version of the color, because I think this is too red and the color is a little bit grayer and cooler. That was too warm. Okay, that works. There's another one here. Actually, this shell, if you guys want to paint along, I'm going to blot it because that was too much there. It's an excellent exercise in creating those wet on dry blends. And wet on dry blending is when you have the wet paint and then you blend it. You have the dry paint, that is drying, and then you blend it with a brush with just plain water. So, again, guys, if there's anybody watching, please let me know that I'm not all alone here. Just, post a comment. And if you do, see, now I'm going to ask for more. Like they say, they give you a hand and you take the whole arm. But if you are watching and you can be so kind as to make a comment so you know you're there, also let me know where you're watching, because I am streaming this to multiple channels. I'm streaming it to YouTube, I'm streaming it to my Facebook business page, the Facebook group, it's Art O'Clock Somewhere, and also Periscope. I don't even know if anybody uses Periscope anymore. I certainly haven't checked that in a long time. I wish that instead of Periscope, they gave us the option to stream to Instagram as well. I think that would have been much more useful for me. But hey, it is what it is. Maybe they're working on it. Actually, I will ask them. I'm using StreamYard, and I do like it how simple it is. I am not the most tech savvy person, so any platform that makes things easy for me and I can do it either by myself because the interface is so beginner friendly, or a simple straightforward YouTube video can help me, I'm down for it. And this is exactly how I actually learned how to use. And it wasn't even one of those half an hour videos. It was a quick and easy one. I think it was like 8 minutes. My attention span is too short for anything over 15 minutes, to be honest. And even that, I have to be really interested. Otherwise, that is too much time. So yeah, I'm liking how this is like really meditative, because you're just going to repeat this process again and again and again. So like I said, if you've been looking for a chance to learn how to create this type of shading and watercolor, wow, this shell here, it's going to give you plenty of opportunity, because we're going to repeat this throughout this whole area here. And I'm just trying to keep track of time, because I know, just like I was saying before, my attention span does not permit me to watch stuff that is too long. So I am going to try and keep this a little bit shorter than yesterday, because yesterday went way over an hour, and that is too long. So whereas I would love to keep on painting here with you guys for hours and hours, I know that some of you probably also relate to my short attention span. So I will do the shell. That's the only project I'm going to do from this particular packet. And as always, I will let you know in the morning when I will stream. So I'll make a post to my page and on the group. If you are one of my previous students, then you do have access to our private group. If you are one of my previous students and you haven't joined the group and you would like to, please get in touch. Just message me and I will add you to the group. Okay. And you see how I'm kind of going multiple times. Anytime I see that it's a little bit too light, I just go over again and I just add another layer. So I should have gotten another small brush for the water. This one is a bit too big, but it's okay. It's not flooding as much as I thought it would. But if you want to do this, go ahead and use a smaller brush. You can actually use a size 2 for both the pigment and the water only brush. And all right. So we have some more areas to shade, but before I go to that, I want to reinforce here. And you see how as I glaze another layer, it gets a little bit darker, a little bit richer. Yeah, it's more depth. So it's all about kicking up a notch with those values. But I'm continuously using the same technique over and over. This one here is a little bit shaky around the edges, so I'm also going to use the opportunity to tidy up. I just want to make sure that, let me see, I want to make sure that this camera is working as well. I think it went through. Yes. All right, just I'm gonna come back here on top because those could use a little bit of a stronger, darker value. So that one. And here. Remove this a little bit so you see how it's easy to even lift a little bit of pigment with your water only brush. And before, actually I'm going to do a little bit more work here before I continue and shade this bits here on the bottom. Yeah, much better now. Okay, so let me blow dry everything so I can continue working on the next layer. All right, so continue working with the same two brushes and the same color mix here. No, actually I'm going to use the other one, the one that we used around the edges of the whole shell. And I'm going to add this dark value like so. And then blend it. Darken it a little bit more while it's still wet so it blends very easily. And then this curved lines here, creating more depth. And another little bit here. And here. And I'm just trying to work as quickly as possible so nothing dries on me and forms hard edges. All of this blending here is very soft. And I'm actually going to reinforce it here. So I'm just glazing. This is the same color that we used before, but because I'm glazing now this second layer, you see the value a little bit darker. So it didn't change the color, it just changed the value. And now those lines here, the cross, they're also gonna get the same treatment. Let me turn it around a little bit. Quickly with my blending brush. And the next area, oops. Almost there. I do wanted to keep this to around 30 minutes or so, and I'm doing good. So far, so good. It's only 31 minutes and I'm almost done. So I'm glad that this is going to plan. Just want to do this a little bit more. Shade under here a little bit more. So just adding, oops, too much paint. And this is why I always have a paper towel or a rag or something on my non-dominant hand so I can control the amount of pigment on my paper and my brush at any given time. And really, in watercolor, oh, that can, sorry, there we go. If you are trying to watch on that one, really in watercolor, controlling how much pigment is on the paper and on the brush is key to success. And really understanding that it's really what, makes a difference as you are a beginner and as you continue practicing. And I can sit here all day telling you how much paint you need to have on the brush versus how much water, and giving you all the theoretical aspect of it. But in reality, you have to do it for yourself. And the more you do it, the more you understand exactly how much pigment and how much water you need on your brush. So no amount of theory can replace the actual doing of it. And don't think that I made a mistake, or this painting is not great because I made so many mistakes here and there, because I don't believe in calling it mistakes. I call it learning opportunities. So every time you paint, regardless of the outcome, what you have is a learning opportunity. And trust me, you are learning. Every time you paint, you are learning something new. And you are basing on that experience as you continue creating. And the next painting is a little bit better than the previous one, and the following one is a little bit better even than the previous one. You know what I'm saying? So what I'm doing here, really, I'm just increasing the value a little bit here and there. And we can continue doing this for quite a while, but for now, I'm going to let it be. And the only thing I want to do to finish this is add a little bit of the blue around. And I'm going to get a small amount of that cerulean blue. And I kind of just put it on top here, even though I had a little bit of that red, but it's so light that is not going to make a big difference in the whole scheme of things. I just want to surround the shell with the blue and show you. And I'm going to use the same technique here where I fade the pigment into nothing. So first I add the pigment, and now I go around the edges blending, because I will paint around the other elements as well. So I want to make sure that I don't have any hard edges. I want all of those edges to be nice and soft, and it almost kind of creates a glow around the shell. So going carefully around the edges, and then with a brush with just water, I soften the edges by blending it. And we're almost done with the project. I will put the link if you want to get this set in the description, in the comment section. Again, I am not an affiliate with Michaels. I am not making anything here. I promise you. I just bought it because I thought it would be fun to paint this with you guys and give you some tips on how to approach this project. And I genuinely like the product. So this is my honest, unbiased, and unpaid opinion of those kits. Really good quality paper. Nice selection of colors. I would have loved if they had added another brush or so, but I guess they were trying to keep it under $10, which is exactly what the price is. It was on sale until a couple of days ago. Now it's at the regular price, but guess what? If you use the 20% off coupon, it's going to come up to the same price that it was when it was on sale. So right now is $9.99. So here we are. This is our shell from the Natural Objects packet. And I will continue painting the rest of this project. But for tomorrow, we're going to see something different so we can paint a variety of subjects. I'm not going to do the same one over and over from the same packet because it might get a little bit boring. If you give me just 1 second, I thought I had copied and pasted the link on my clipboard, but it's not. So here we are. Got it. Just give me 1 second. I'm getting to it. Where are you? Natural Elements. Here we go. So I'm getting the link for you. It's right on the comment box. And I'm also going to put my website if you want to sign up for my newsletter, my email list. And I promise I don't spam. I only send 1 or 2 emails a month. You can get my 10 tips for better watercolor paintings. And also, when you are a part of my email list, I send you some freebies every month, coloring sheets, calligraphy worksheets, and other fun stuff, tutorials and demonstrations, and lots of fun stuff if you want to sign up for my newsletter. So thank you so much for spending this time here with me today painting this leaf. I hope you had fun, and I will see you again tomorrow. Thank you so much. Bye, guys. Sending you all lots of love. And remember, it's always art o'clock somewhere.